Good evening, everyone. It's Kat Sticker here with Soul Shift Thursdays, and thank you so much for joining us for another show. Happy Beltane. Tomorrow is May Day. Isn't that right? Oh, no. It's May 1st. I guess tomorrow's Friday. It'll be Saturday. Saturday's Beltane. And I wonder how many of you are celebrating this weekend with a bonfire or some other type of feast or celebration for Beltane. I think it's supposed to rain here all weekend, so I doubt we'll be doing a fire. But certainly maybe we can have a feast. And I have a special guest with me tonight. And I don't know if he'll get in the picture or not a little bit later. But I have Mufasa, the kitty we found outside, and we have brought him inside finally. He's been coming around for about 2 or 3 months. And he's just a beautiful, fluffy orange cat. And we can tell that he needs help. He's got some wounds now, so I kind of wanted to capture him and take him to the vet. So he's in my room here with me, my office space, and right now he's just enjoying himself, relaxing in the chair. So I hope he'll stay calm in the chair, because earlier he was meowing and kind of freaking out that he was trapped. Anyway, also Mother's Day is coming up, so I hope everyone's getting ready for Mother's Day. I think we'll have another show before then. And today's show is excitingly about identifying triggers for self-sabotage. Well, what do I mean by that? Oh, hold on, I got a comment. Let me see. Love you, Catherine Quinta. Thank you. Love you too. I got a really cool comment. All right, so what do I mean by identifying triggers for self-sabotage? I'm talking about, remember when we talked about earlier this year setting our goals around the pillars of wellness, developing your wellness plan for the year? Maybe that includes diet or fitness, or it could include some other self-care. And how many people have stuck to their plans? Well, I know it's hard because we all have these triggers that can derail us from achieving our wellness goals. It happens now and then, and some people can get back on track easier than others. So if you hear meowing, he has hopped down from the chair, and Mufasa is at the door meowing to go out. So I might need Michael to come get him soon. No, he's okay. He's coming over. He just meows a lot naturally. So I don't think it's just because he's in here. He likes to meow. He's a meower. Anyway, so for instance, let's talk first about what could cause you to go off your diet plan. Well, a lot of things. Maybe you're hungry, for one thing. But what if you find yourself snacking on something that's really unhealthy, and maybe you had a ho-ho or a Twinkie or some chocolate, whatever, and that's not on your diet plan. Or maybe you had something like a big pasta meal. You know, it doesn't have to be a sweet. It could be a big pasta meal. What do you think could have caused you to go off your diet plan other than, I mean, maybe it was a special occasion and so you kind of felt peer pressure. That's one thing. But what if you're by yourself and you decide to do that and it's not based on, you know, an event or someone else pressuring you? What if it's just comes from internally? And would you beat yourself up about that and be like, oh, I don't have any willpower. Oh, it's just me. I just can't stick to a diet, or, you know, kind of give yourself a hard time about it. That I think a lot of us do stuff like that, but really, if you analyze the situation and what happened, you might find that there's deeper feelings behind what triggered you to go off your plan. For instance, maybe that the food that you were eating was comfort food. A lot of people find food to be comfort, may remind you of home or your parents or a good time that you had before. Maybe it was your favorite food during a really good time of your life. It reminds you of something. Or maybe it activates some serotonin in your brain. A lot of times chocolate is responsible for activating serotonin. So when we feel stressed out, you need that rush of serotonin, and you just subconsciously know to go to the chocolate to get that, because it gives you a good feeling, and you need to get that calm, zen kind of feeling again, so you go right for the chocolate. So these are kind of triggers that you can analyze and say, well, what is it? What the heck's wrong with me? Am I stressed out? Is it something that I'm not getting from my loved ones around me, and so I'm turning to food for that? Some people will turn to food when they feel depressed or sad. And really, you can drill down and use what we call root cause analysis to get to the root of the matter. And that's really just asking a lot of questions like, why? Why is this happening? How do I feel? And why do I feel that way? So, for instance, and food is one where a lot of food attractions, issues with food can stem way back from your early childhood. So this is one where root cause analysis is usually pretty handy, is related to your diet, why you're not sticking to a diet. Let's see what other comments I have. High vibe diets for high vibe people. The fruit trees and vegetable gardens are a wonderful pharmacy and healing modality for all. That is true. It is a good thing to eat the high vibe foods, fresh foods, unprocessed foods, and of course, that's usually what people start out with, that kind of plan. But then something happens, they go off the rails. Why? When they were probably doing pretty good on it, and then suddenly they don't. And then it's really hard for them to get back on, because they have that defeat. They feel that, they internalize that defeat and have a hard time getting started again, because they're like, oh, well, I already ruined it, so might as well just stay off of it, or they'll start not sticking to it more and more once you do it one time. It's easier to keep doing that and letting yourself give into that. And it's not necessarily willpower, but a lot of times we have these unmet needs that stem from other things deep within. Maybe it's a past trauma and you're trying to soothe yourself from that, and something triggered you. So don't just write it off as something in yourself that's not strong enough to stick to what you wanted to do, but maybe it's something else. And I'll give you an example from me. So a lot of times I'll have trouble with not just going off a diet. I can usually stick to a diet, but I get really kind of panicky when I have to go somewhere. I'm going to be gone somewhere all day, maybe to a park or to work or somewhere where I'm not going to be near home or near a food source. And I'll pack a lot of food with me, and people will be like, why are you taking all that food? I'm like, I don't want to be hungry. And then I'll find myself like eating a lot while either before I leave or while I'm there. And when I really drilled down on that, it kind of stemmed back from a fear of being hungry. And why do I have a fear of being hungry? Well, there was a time in my life where I was really extremely concerned that I was going to starve to death because I had no money for food. And I was having, like, there was no money. And I didn't know how to get any food or any money. And I was really concerned I would starve to death. And obviously I didn't starve to death. And I don't look like I'm starving now, do I? But, you know, that does trigger that kind of fear in me when I feel like I may be deprived of food, of how hungry I was and how that felt to feel sick all the time because I didn't have enough to eat. And I was an adult at the time, but I just didn't have any money. And I didn't know about like welfare or like I was pretty young. That was like between the times I was like 18 and about 22, and I was out on my own for the first time, and I just wasn't making enough money to pay the bills. And I mean, I had a job, but I just wasn't making enough money to pay the bills. And sometimes I was really hungry. I didn't want to ask my parents for food. I would rather starve to death than let them know that I was failing money-wise. And it was just a really hungry time. So anyway, that was my root cause analysis of that. And what you can do, and so what I would do is I'd plan, you know, I've got to have all this food ready so I won't be hungry. But then I learned to work through that by actually letting myself be hungry and come to the realization that it's okay. I'm not going to starve to death. It's not that bad. I can get food, you know, enough food to survive. And before I get sick or anything, I'll get a chance to eat. For me, it's ice cream. Oh, that's Michael. It's been like tradition for years as I was growing up before bed. It was like a family event. It was definitely a happy time. So yeah, so Michael has this ice cream fetish thing where he loves ice cream, and it reminds him of a happy time with his family, and he wants to recreate that feeling. And so what can we do instead of turning to an unhealthy choice? Maybe we can plan for that trigger. We know we're going to be triggered. We know we're going to want to feel that way. And we think automatically of the ice cream, right? So what could we do instead? Maybe we can look at pictures of our family, or call up somebody in our family and talk to them, and maybe have another healthier snack already prepared. And so that a lot of times is my downfall also, is I don't have something healthy prepared. I'll have healthy food in the refrigerator or on the counter, like, but it needs some preparation, and I just don't have time, or I just don't feel like it. I'm not going to do all that prep at that moment. But if I had it already prepared in the refrigerator, then I could just grab it, and then it would be great. Usually the unhealthy food doesn't need much preparation. It's just that you grab it and there it is. So that's kind of another thing, is just be prepared for those moments. Know what the trigger is. Hey Brazos, good to see you. All right, so here's kind of what the plan is then. So you want to identify whatever the trigger is and acknowledge that. Like, take ownership of, this is my trigger. This is what I know is the thing that's going to make me feel this way. So let me give you another example. When I say a trigger, the root cause is really, you know, maybe what happened in the past or what it reminds you of. But the trigger could be something like, oh, when I have a problem in my relationship, or whenever I'm by myself and I feel alone, or when I'm watching TV and that's like when I really want a snack. And you know, I always loved popcorn, I always loved ice cream, and that's what I want to have during my movie, because It reminds me of a time I was at the movies with my parents, and it was a really happy time for us. So that's why I always have to have that. Well, you can kind of reprogram yourself around those triggers. Be prepared for when that's going to happen. You know, you may always have that stuff on hand. Well, maybe don't have that stuff on hand and have something else that's healthier choice on hand. So that's that. Think of the alternate behavior, and then make a plan to counteract the trigger in another way. And it doesn't necessarily, with the diet thing, have to be with another food. Maybe it is a substitute action. Maybe it is, whenever I feel like that, I'm going to go take a walk, get some fresh air, or drink water, or something that's maybe can be satisfying and filling. But you have to really plan ahead, because if you let your emotions take over, it's too late. Once your emotions have got in there, then you're already in that weak state that's going to let you gravitate towards the easiest thing to do, the thing that you're most familiar with doing. All right, hey Mufasa, it's okay, come here. Oh, he's so sweet. All right, he's going back in the chair. All right, so next, let's talk about the fitness part. What causes you to go off your fitness plan? Now, exercise is a little bit different than diets, because food is a big part of our culture, of any culture, and that is usually, like I said, deep-seated in your childhood of reasons that you make certain food choices that are emotionally attached, emotionally triggered. But what about something like a fitness plan, and you're doing okay on it, you know, you're making a little progress, getting stronger every day, but then something happens. Either you get sick and you have to stop exercising, or maybe you get injured and you stop exercising, or you go on vacation and you stop exercising for a temporary period of time. Say it's like a week. And why don't you go back to it? Why is it so hard to get back to it? It's not, you know, and this isn't for the people that have no problem with that. This is for the people that have a hard time getting restarted back on their plan when they've been derailed by some event. That is another thing that you can plan for and try to not let it derail you. Say, you know, you're going on vacation. You know that whenever you go on vacation, you never start back on your fitness plan. You can make a commitment to go back on it, and not just make a commitment. Put it on your calendar. Like, set up time on your calendar that you're going to go back to the gym, or go jogging or walking or whatever it is, you're swimming, that you do. And you might even want to invite a friend to do it with you. So then you have like peer pressure to do it, you know, on that day. And all you have to do is just get started again. It's not like you have to do that every day, but just to get back in the groove of things. What other things can cause you to go off your fitness plan? Maybe you just get something. Give me some ideas of what other things trigger you to go off of the fitness plan. Could it be you're not seeing enough progress, and so you just abandon it altogether? And that could be something that is something that could stem back to an earlier time, maybe when somebody gave you a hard time or made you feel bad about you know, not being fit, not making progress on a fitness plan, and then that triggers you to just drop out and stop because you don't want to deal with those feelings anymore, right? So you got to kind of do that root cause analysis and see, what is it that's causing me to do this, and then think of an alternative solution. And then but I want to hear from you guys too. Put in some comments about like what you have experienced and what gets you back on track for these things. What kind of motivation gets you back on track? All right. And then what other ways can we self-sabotage our wellness plan? Well, there's a lot of habits that we may have had in the past that could come back because of emotional triggers. And things like drinking or smoking or doing drugs or drinking unhealthy soft drinks or TV. I mean, like drugs, Coke, TV. There's probably a lot of other things that I don't have on there, but I'm trying to think of things related to wellness that would throw you off of your wellness plan. And maybe these triggers are hanging out with certain people. You always smoke when you're with Tom and Jerry over here, or maybe you always drink when you're with Betty and Sue. So people can be a trigger, who you're hanging out with. So maybe you kind of avoid hanging out with them while you're on this particular health kick, right? And invite them to something that's like a non-drinking or non-smoking type event, and try to reprogram those habits, those emotional triggers. I remember my mother told me, and this is kind of how I know about these triggers and stuff, was my mother told me about this when I was little. She had a friend she talked to on the phone for like hours, and whenever she was talking to her, she would chain smoking. So am I still live? I so I'm not sure what happened there. But what my mother did to counteract that was she put by the phone a thing of, so Michael says, definitely for me is not seeing enough progress. I'm assuming that's for the exercise. Um, yeah, I mean, in that case, you could change up your plan instead of just dropping out altogether. You could try something else. When you don't see progress on something, try something else. Oh, it's just freezing on my end, like the camera's going black. So I don't think it's the internet. I think there's something maybe with my camera connection. Not sure. Anyway, that was about it for that. I let's see. I have a reminder for you guys. Upcoming workshop on May 1st. Oh, that's May Day. That's Beltane. We'll have to do some kind of Beltane celebration during this workshop. All right, we have this free workshop coming up on Saturday at 4 p.m. Central, U.S. Central Time. We're in the Houston time zone. So that's 5 p.m. Eastern and 2 p.m. Pacific. It's a 90-minute workshop. It's free. And you can sign up at this link here, learning.learnworlds.com. And I updated the workshop because for some reason it wasn't showing the right thing on there. But you should be able to register now for that. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to talk about labyrinths and walk through a finger labyrinth. And I'm going to start posting the materials on there tomorrow and Saturday. And well, I guess tomorrow because the next day, Saturday, is the workshop. So I'll have the labyrinth you can download and print out ahead of time. Or you could probably just do it on the screen. I'll see if I can share my screen and have one on there that you could that you could use right on your computer or your tablet. So join us for that. There'll be a meditation, walking through the labyrinth to find healing, and meeting, like manifesting your wellness goal. Also, so come with a goal. Also, we're gonna do just sending out some healing during, kind of at the end of that workshop for everyone. So I really look forward to seeing some of you guys there, and I appreciate you coming on tonight to talk about this topic. Mufasa, do you want to make any appearance? I don't know where he went. I kind of wanted to show him to you, but I don't want to traumatize him. You know, it's his first time in the house. He's an outdoor cat. He's a stray cat that got, I don't know if he got dumped out here or what, but he started coming around a few months ago, and he comes like multiple times a day to get food. And he seems pretty healthy, but I think he got beat up last night because he has like a wound on his throat and one on his back. So I want to get him to the vet and get that looked at. I've looked and looked, you know, for lost cat ads featuring him and everything, so we could get him scanned to see if he has a chip, but I don't think he does. He acts like he's been an indoor cat before. Definitely. He was somebody's cat. So I don't know what happened, what his story is, but we'll take care of him and get him taken care of. So check out, I'll post a picture of him or something in the group. How about that? So for those of you joining us on YouTube, the group I'm talking about is our Soul Shifters Guild Facebook group. You can find us there. And I hope you guys have a wonderful night and a happy Beltane. Love you too, Dash. All right, I'm going to end it now. Good night.